See tonight.
Now at 11, power lines and trees torn down by wicked winds, leaving people in New England picking up the pieces tonight.
The rain and winds move out, but what about those warmer temps?
A suspected robber's wild ride comes to a crashing end after police say he carjacked a mother at gunpoint.
And a little pill making a big difference for some heroin addicts. They say it's helping them stay clean for good.
It's all now from the night team.
7 News at 11 starts now.
First at 11, we have some breaking news. Tense moments on the T. Passengers kicking out windows of an Orange Line train. Smoke in the background, as you see there. This caused huge delays on the Orange Line tonight.
And now we're learning what caused that smoky scene. The night team's Ryan Schulteis at the State Street T-stop with the very latest for us. Ryan?
And Johnny, the situation is under control. Tonight, take a look behind me. You can see the fire department has left the scene, and we have learned from the fire department and the MBTA the situation started because of a motor problem with one of the trains, plus a defective third rail. That's what actually caused that smoke condition down there and the panic for all the passengers. A terrifying scene on the Orange Line in Boston as smoke fills State Street.
You know, it was real smoky. A lot of people were running towards my way.
The Boston Fire Department says it involved 2 trains and a defective third rail.
It was ultimately determined that a damaged section of third rail caused some motors to overheat. Further investigation revealed that perhaps there was a piece of sheet metal on the tracks that contributed, to that damaged section of third rail and overheated the motors. So
the smoke condition causing some people to panic. In fact, some passengers busting through windows to get out.
People were kicking windows out, and it was pretty chaotic at the time. I didn't know what was really going on, and but I'm glad everybody got out safely.
No one was hurt, but there was some major delays as the fire department worked to clear the area. And we know that the train there that had the windows busted out has been taken out of service. There's a few crews out here remaining trying to investigate exactly what happened with that third rail and the debris that was on the tracks there. That investigation does continue. We're live here in Boston tonight. Ryan Schulteis, 7 News 19.
Okay, we've got breaking news to bring you now out of South Boston, where police say a 10-month-old has been rushed to the hospital after being found unresponsive in a bathtub. Police say EMS performed CPR on the baby before rushing the child to Boston Medical Center. We have a crew on the scene, and we'll bring you more as the story continues to develop tonight.
Also from the night team, winter weather doing some damage here in New England. Wicked winds brought down power lines and trees today as storms powered through the area. This latest batch of storms brought heavy rain, as you probably experienced, washed away the frigid temperatures. After a weekend of sub-zero temps, we climbed into the 50s today.
Unbelievable, right? The big question, will it last? Let's get over to meteorologist Jeremy Reiner with the latest.
Well, there goes the storm heading up through the Maritimes, and what a storm it was. Winds gusted this afternoon anywhere between 50 and 60 miles per hour. Fairhaven, a gust of 64 miles per hour. Wellfleet had a gust of 52 miles per hour. Also, some brief heavy rain during the evening commute. Many cities and towns over an inch of rain, and it was warm. Temps this afternoon skyrocketed into the 50s. Even right now, the cold front has moved through, but there's no Arctic air behind that front. Temps in the upper 40s. The city at 47. The air is a little bit cooler back through eastern New York and western New England, but again, considering where we came from, lower 30s, I think we can handle that. And that'll be the case for the morning commute. Temps tomorrow morning down into the low and middle 30s. And for some of you, west and north of town, there may be a couple of slick spots on untreated surfaces. Otherwise, it's a quiet morning commute. Through the day, a mix of clouds and sunshine. It's a quiet day. Temps tomorrow in the mid-40s, 7 o'clock tomorrow evening, upper 30s. The rest of the forecast in a few minutes.
All right, Jeremy, we'll go back to today. And again, those storms left some real destruction in some neighborhoods. Strong winds tore down trees, ripped down power lines. The night team's Brandon Gano live in Wellesley with more tonight. Brandon?
And this tree didn't have much of a root structure, but just the size of this tree shows you how strong the winds must have been when they ripped through this Wellesley neighborhood. Take a look, and you can see some of the tree that's still left. But the big problem really tonight for this neighborhood and crews is all these power lines that are still down.
A huge tree came crashing down in this family's front yard.
But we heard a loud crash and like a flash of light from the transformer.
Neighbors say a babysitter and 3 kids were home at the time. Thankfully, no one was hurt.
And I saw the babysitter run out right after the tree came down.
It was the loud thump, loud crash, the flash of light from the transformer blowing, and the wires just snapping.
The high winds and the fast-moving storm uprooted the tree, taking down power lines and causing the transformer to explode. It split power poles down the street as well.
The power's out on the entire street, I'm pretty sure. At least like the bottom half of it is.
It happened around 6 on Upway Road in Wellesley. Crews worked for hours to restore power to neighbors and to cut the tree into smaller pieces to make it easier to remove. The family that lives in the home is staying elsewhere. Again, no one was hurt.
It was loud enough that you could hear it from, like, even if you were the top floor, like up a couple of the houses. So it was definitely noticeable.
Now you can see utility crews have a lot of work to do tomorrow with these power lines, but the good news is after a few hours of working, the power is back on for this neighborhood. We're live in Wellesley. Brandon Gano, 7 News 19.
Thank you, Brandon. Cabin pressure building up for passengers on a flight bound for New York. They were diverted to Manchester, New Hampshire last night. Then today, many of them were diverted again, this time to Boston. The night team's Tim Caputo is at Logan with their story. Tim.
Yeah, they say they're happy to be home this evening, but I bet they're more relieved that this day-long ordeal is finally over. They were taken to New Hampshire on yesterday, right here to Boston, Massachusetts today, and all they wanted to do was go to New York.
The flight was supposed to last about 4 hours. Instead, it turned into a 30-hour nightmare, stopping at what felt like every airport but the one they were trying to get to.
There were a lot of children on the flight. There were a lot of people getting sick. Several people needed oxygen.
159 passengers on board a Delta flight all left Punta Cana, Dominican Republic Monday afternoon, thinking they'd get to JFK Airport, New York by Monday evening. But bad weather there caused the plane to be diverted to Manchester, New Hampshire, where the snow was also falling. A passenger posted this picture of people getting off the plane during the storm, still 250 miles from home. What's worse, Manchester isn't an international airport, so passengers had to wait on the plane until customs agents could drive from Portland, Maine to process them.
Had to wait for customs people to come. An hour or so later, they sent one.
Delta put up the passengers overnight, and the plan was to get them on an early flight to JFK, but by this point, some rented cars or found other flights to New York. 90 weary travelers who started their journey a day earlier boarded a flight from New Hampshire to New York, but they didn't land at JFK. 45-mile-an-hour winds were just too much, and the plane turned around, this time landing in Boston.
It was really bad. I've never experienced turbulence like that. I thought that the plane was going to break in half.
After the storm finally passed, their final leg was the only smooth flight. They're all now back in New York, a frustrating 30 hours later than they expected.
Today, it actually was somewhat funny because we thought they were joking, because how could that happen twice? But it did, and here we are, however many hours later. But like I said, it's good to be home.
And some of those frustrated passengers I got in contact with said they felt like they deserved a full refund for all that they went through. Delta responding publicly by saying this was essentially weather-related, and they tried to accommodate the best as they could while keeping the customers' safety their first priority. We're live tonight at Logan Airport. Tim Caputo, 7 News 19.
A local mother is carjacked with her baby by her side. Police say a robber then went on a wild ride that came to a crashing end, which you see here. The night team Susan Tran is in Brockton, live with the story for us. Susan.
Adam, this was a scary day for 3 generations who were just shopping at the mall. It was mom, grandmother, and baby. They are shaken up at home tonight, though, and okay. They had no idea and could never imagine that their car would be stolen and then end up crashing here into the utility pole.
The entire trunk of the car wrapped around the utility pole.
We heard the car hit the pole down here on the corner.
But the driver, a suspect in a carjacking that just happened, still tried to get away, escaping from the passenger side.
Gentleman jumped from the car and started tearing up Boylston Street. Cruiser was right behind him, pulled his gun, told him to drop his gun.
The mother of an 11-month-old says she and her mother were leaving the Westgate Mall around noon. A man casually approached them as they were loading the baby into the car seat. Then he opened his jacket, showing what turned out to be this pellet gun, and told them, "I'm going to need your car." She had just enough time to get the baby out before police say he raced off.
Point the gun to a person in Westgate Mall? It's nuts.
State police say they chased the car for almost 6 miles from Brockton into Stoughton before the suspect lost control, ramming into the utility pole.
That was a big squash.
Big boom in it. Then the car was between the utility telephone and the sign.
They say the suspect threw his gun into the snow and police were able to arrest him. Neighbors grateful no one was seriously hurt throughout this one afternoon crime spree.
But he let them go, thank goodness. Because the look of that car, the baby in the back seat, really would have been hurt.
Police arrested a 32-year-old man from Taunton. He faces a list of charges. As for the victim's family, they say that the victim and the baby and grandmother all doing okay tonight. They're grateful for all of the hard work from Stoughton, Brockton, and Mass State Police. We're live in Stoughton tonight. Susan Trent, 7 News 19.
Thank you, Susan. Well, police are investigating a murder mystery in Malden. Officials say officers got a call Monday night asking them to check on a woman living at the Cliffside Commons. When police arrived, they found her body. Investigators haven't identified the victim or said how she died, but they do not believe it was a random act.
Police in Tyngsboro are searching for suspects after a break-in at a gun store there. Investigators say someone forced their way into Hitman Firearms overnight, shattering glass, breaking through a metal door. They got into storage cabinets. They stole 4 handguns, police say. Officials still investigating whether it's connected to a similar robbery earlier this month at a weapons store in New Hampshire.
A 21-year-old is now in custody in connection to a hit and run in Lowell. Police say he intentionally hit a 15-year-old riding his bike last Friday. Investigators say the driver never stopped, dragging the bike along with him. He's due in court tomorrow. The teenager is being treated at a Boston hospital.
Moving to the race for the White House now, President Obama hammered home his belief today that Donald Trump will not be elected president. And in usual fashion, Trump fired back at the president at a campaign event in South Carolina.
Being president is a serious job. It's not hosting a talk show or a reality show.
Our borders are like Swiss cheese. This man has done such a bad job. He has set us back so far. And for him to say that actually is a great compliment, if you want to know the truth.
And despite criticism from Republican senators and candidates, President Obama says he plans to appoint a Supreme Court justice to replace Antonin Scalia.
A Patriot star calling it quits. Linebacker Jerod Mayo announcing his retirement from football and sending a message out to Patriots Nation. 7's Alex Cordry here with more for us. Alex.
A 2-time Pro Bowler, Jerod Mayo played 8 seasons in Foxborough. Mayo was a building block for the Patriots defense from the get-go, and today his NFL career has come to an end. The 8-year veteran posting on Instagram, after a lot of thought, Chantel and I take this opportunity to express our sincere gratitude for what we consider a life-changing event, that of becoming a New England Patriot for the past 8 years. We are extremely grateful to Thundercat, that's his nickname, for Robert Kraft, Jonathan, the Kraft family, Coach Belichick, the Pats organization, and the most amazing fans in contributing to these pages of our lives. As my family and I prepare for the future, be sure that the Pats memories will always hold a special place in our hearts. Mayo was selected in the first round of the 2008 draft. The 29-year-old's career has been repeatedly interrupted by injuries over the past 3 seasons, all of which with Mayo ending on injured reserve. His absence saves the team $7 million towards the salary cap. We will have much more on Mayo in sports, and according to multiple reports, the team has reached a deal with offensive line coach Dante Scarnecchia. Live in the newsroom, Alex Cordry, 7 News 19.
Thank you, Alex. Well, up next, hope for those battling opioids.
The pill some are calling a miracle to help deal with drug addiction.
How the crew of a local tugboat that sank in rough weather was saved at sea.
Cool for the morning commute, but not bitterly cold. Forecast for the rest of the week up next.
And the perfect proposal. A local man gets help from a celebrity to pop the question. Next on 7 News at 11.
Well, there could be hope for those battling opioid addiction. Some recovering addicts say this pill is giving them a fighting chance. It's a pill that actually stops the high.
For some, it's already been the difference between life and death. 7's investigative reporter Cheryl Fiandaca has a closer look.
For some addicts in recovery, these pills are a miracle drug.
It was extremely helpful, very effective.
It's called naltrexone. The medication works by blocking the opioid receptors in the brain to take away the sensation of getting high. That means people who take a narcotic like heroin while on naltrexone won't feel the effects of the heroin. We found it's being used to help people in Watertown at the Right Turn Outpatient Addiction Program.
I would just say that it took the mental obsession out of my head and made it possible for me to focus more on my recovery.
The FDA approved naltrexone decades ago to treat alcohol and opiate addiction. But 7 News has learned the potentially life-saving drug is still not widely prescribed to treat substance abuse.
The problem is that some people refer to them as drugs, and they say, oh my God, you're just substituting one drug for another. But I want to be very clear, when you're talking about trying to help someone with a substance use disorder, you want to try to use anything and everything, because not everything's going to work.
Naltrexone is not a narcotic and is not addictive. Recovering addicts we talked to said the drug was a big part of their treatment.
That is a good safety net and a good medication to be able to use to get to where you want to be.
But there's a dangerous downside to the drug. Addicts could be more likely to overdose because they may take bigger and bigger doses of a drug like heroin trying to feel the high. For this reason, the FDA warns the medication should only be given to addicts who have completed detox, have stayed off drugs for 7 to 10 days, and are committed to sobriety. Warnings that lead some doctors to question whether naltrexone is really the answer for heroin addicts.
Nothing's a panacea. Naltrexone alone will not fix the opioid crisis.
Doctors at the Watertown facility say the drug must be used along with behavioral therapy and family support to help addicts stay clean.
For people who have been kind of really conditioned to believe that they have no hope and then they get better is what it's all about. And they do get better, and treatment works, and it really, really works.
I think it's highly effective because with taking that medication and doing all of the other necessary steps, I believe that anybody could be successful.
Doctors say recovering addicts using naltrexone should be closely monitored. They say they can stay on the medication as long as they need to, since there are few side effects. Most insurance companies do cover the cost. In the newsroom, I'm Cheryl Fiandaca.
A captain and his crew forced to jump ship after their boat started sinking into Boston Harbor. This 55-foot tugboat sank into the water this morning. The 3-man crew jumped out of the boat and into the water just before it happened, and then they were able to call for help. A nearby boat heard their calls and pulled them out of that what I anticipate would be very frigid water. The captain of the tugboat thanked them for saving his life.
He's the man. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Joe.
It felt like I was picking up a jacket. I just one arm onto the deck. Just adrenaline, you know. Probably feel it tomorrow.
Well, everyone on the tugboat is now doing okay.
All right, let's check your forecast now. 47 degrees out at Logan Airport, and it's been sort of like a roller coaster ride this winter.
It absolutely has. That feels balmy right now, Jeremy.
Yes, it is. The storm system from the afternoon moving away. It's not taking the warm air with it. That's the good news. Quiet for the next few days. We won't be in the 50s, but seasonal temps. I mean, there's no bitter blast of air coming in behind this storm, which sometimes can happen here in the month of February. So there goes the storm rocketing up toward the Maritimes. On the back side of the storm system, some lingering clouds. There is the cold front now moving offshore. And temperatures behind that cold front, again, they're kind of behaving themselves here and just waiting for the bottom to drop out, but that's not going to happen. Boston right now at 47, Worcester 38, Orange at 36. It gets a little cooler western New England and eastern New York State, but, you know, these numbers, considering where we came from, lower 30s, I'm fine with that. So for tonight, clearing skies. It does cool off late tonight, and I think there may be a couple of slick spots on the untreated surfaces tomorrow morning. Nothing widespread or significant, but just, you know, give yourself a little extra time and just be mindful of that when you're walking on the sidewalk or the driveway or the T-platform. I think main roads will be okay. Norwood tomorrow morning, 32. These will be the temps about 6:30, 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. The city around 37. Jaffrey at 30. And then through the day tomorrow, it's actually a great winter day. Mix of clouds and sunshine, barely any wind out there. Great day for skiing with the kiddos on vacation. Temps between 42 and 47. Thursday offers a lot of sunshine. A little cooler on Thursday, with the numbers a little bit closer to normal. The normal high is about 39. We have a little front that kind of sneaks through here tomorrow evening. Sometimes the fronts come through, they make a lot of noise like this evening's front, and other times like tomorrow, you barely notice them as they pass on through, and then you have a cooler day the following day. That happens the next 2 days. So 40s tomorrow, and then 30s on Thursday. Friday, mix of clouds and sunshine. Another nice day. Here comes another front at us, but not a cool front. It's a warm front, and that will show up in the form of clouds on Friday afternoon, and there could be a couple of snow flurries on Friday evening, and then it lives up to its name. You go from the upper 30s on Friday into the upper 40s on Saturday. Your 7-on-7 forecast again. Quiet weather for the remainder remainder of the weekend into the upcoming weekend with a mix of clouds and sunshine. 30s for the end of the week, upper 40s Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, with Tuesday the temps into the mid-40s. Peace out. Good night.
Good night, Jeremy. A local man getting some help from a celebrity for a real show of love.
Devin and Wilson. Where's 101 and 102? Well, you guys.
I don't know what I'd do without you, and I'm just gonna go for it.
The couple from Revere went to see the popular Broadway show Kinky Boots for Valentine's Day. And after the show, actor Wayne Brady got them both on the stage for the surprise proposal.
I had no clue. I had no clue at all. I was shocked, and I'm still in shock.
I was ecstatic. I was hoping we wouldn't say no. Here we are in front of thousands of people.
The nerves to do that, man. Devin and Wayne Brady. Devin says that Wayne Brady was very gracious and even inspected and approved the wedding ring before the proposal. It was perfect the way they did it, and a big congratulations to them.
Absolutely. Looks like they're going to be great together, too.
Yes.
Definitely both love that very much. All right, everyone. On the other side of the break, more with sports. We'll see you in a minute.
7 Sports is brought to you by your New England Acura dealers.
And now, time for 7 Sports with Alex Cordry.
Back in 2014, Bill Belichick said Jerod Mayo is, quote, really a guy that the team probably revolves around more than any other player. Tonight, the Patriots looking to fill the void of leader and linebacker. Mayo announcing the end of his run in New England, releasing a statement on Instagram with the caption, retiring a Patriot. With Mayo calling it a career, he saves the Pats a ton of cash. The team was unlikely to keep him next season, especially with the cap number of $11.4 million, second on the team to Tom Brady. Mayo is just 29, but injuries taking their toll. The 2-time Pro Bowler was placed on season-ending injured reserve the past 3 seasons. Well, retirement didn't last long for Dante Scarnecchia. He's back as the Patriots offensive line coach, and according to ESPN's Adam Kaplan, he retired following the 2013 season. Now he'll have the task of rebuilding Tom Brady's group of personal protectors following the firing of Dave DeGuglielmo. The Patriots continuing their 6-game road trip tonight in Columbus, and after missing the last 2 games because of an undisclosed injury, Patrice Bergeron returned to the lineup tonight. Same goes for Adam McQuaid, who is activated from injured reserve this afternoon. Midway through the first, after giving up 6 goals on Sunday, more defensive struggles from the Bruins. Zdeno Chara hooks Alexander Wenberg on the breakaway, and we've got a penalty shot. So Wenberg takes advantage, slowing way down and roofing past the backhand pass to Carrasque, and it's 1-0 Columbus. Later in the first, the Bruins strike back. What was good to see Patrice Bergeron back on the ice and snapping home his 22nd goal of the season. We're tied up at 1, so we stayed tied into overtime, but not very long in OT, just 33 seconds into extra session. Torrey Krug, the perfect feed to Louis Eriksson. That's a 4th straight game with a goal, sending the Bees to a 2-1 win. The Red Sox had a successful offseason, and the work to make it a successful regular season is underway in Fort Myers. The addition of David Price to the top of the rotation is huge, but after trading away their most durable starter in Wade Miley, guys like Clay Buchholz need to step up in a big way.
Just be more consistent. It's taking care of the little things that you can control day in and day out, being prepared. And not saying that I hadn't been prepared throughout the last 5 or 6 years up here, but it's it's a grind every day going out and being a pitcher, especially in this division.
He's on a 7 a.m. flight, so I hope he's done packing his bag. 7 Straight Air is heading to Fort Myers, and you can look for his live reports from spring training starting tomorrow. And with the trade deadline looming, Danny Ainge taking a break from wheeling and dealing, joining Jared Sullinger and Evan Turner at Ohio State tonight. The Buckeyes retiring Turner's number 21 jersey. The 2010 National Player of the Year joined Celtics legend John Havlicek in the rafters in Columbus.
It's unbelievable, man. It's a blessing. Not many people are able to do it, and had the opportunity. And all the great people I met here, I'm just super blessed to be able to be one of the people up there. It's beautiful.
And the Boston Herald reports the Celtics called the Clippers about the availability of Blake Griffin, but today Doc Rivers saying the team is not trading their star forward. I'm Alex Cordry, and that's sports.
All right, thanks so much, Alex.
And here's Jimmy with what's coming up next on The Tonight Show.
Hey guys, Zach Galifianakis and Bill Maher here for True Confessions. Plus we have Ronda Rousey and Pitbull featuring featuring Robin Thicke, Joe Perry, and Travis Barker. We're in LA all week.
Well, we're out of time for tonight. The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon, is coming up next. I'm Jody-Ann Thompson.
And I'm Adam Williams. 7 News continues at 5 a.m. with the morning crew today in New England. We hope you have a wonderful night. Thanks again for being with us.